Journalists with a reputation and a paycheck to protect do not speak the truth.
What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
Hi, I'm Fisk Smith, and welcome to Spiral Into It. Back in the spring of 2000, we reported on the mysterious story of chemtrails. Back then, millions of Americans and people around the world were reporting unusual sightings of unmarked airplanes ejecting strange contrails. Normal contrails are streaks of condensed water vapor that dissipate after a few minutes. But these chemtrail reports, with documented pictures and websites, were of a very different nature. In a typical case, an airplane or airplanes would appear. They would be unmarked, usually a military-type tanker plane. They would launch chemicals that would disperse and not disappear after a few minutes. On the contrary, these dispersed chemicals would usually plume and fan out to cover the sky. It is now 2002. And Will Thomas has been following this story since its inception. He has been covering this story from the beginning. Will Thomas has sacrificed everything to cover this story. He has relinquished the love of his life, he's been ridiculed by his peers, and he has been harassed at every point. But you know what? I still see chemtrails today. Check it out. Look up in the sky. The next time you see a contrail, wait and see if it disperses after 20 minutes. If it doesn't, it's most likely a chemtrail. You see them all the time. So listen to what our guest has to say. This event was recorded at ConspiracyCon in Santa Clara in 2001, an event put on by Brian Hall. What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
So here we are, chemtrails. I've been a journalist for more than 30 years. I've covered some very big stories, particularly the Gulf War, the biggest environmental disaster in modern times, the secret biological war in the Gulf, the ensuing Gulf War illness. That was and continues to be a massive cover-up, and we'll touch on that this morning. Chemtrails is even bigger. And you know, I've taken a lot of flack for this story. It's cost me just about everything I hold dear. It's very difficult to pursue a story like this with the media of this planet controlled by 5 major corporations, part of the military, industrial, entertainment complex that Eisenhower tried to warn us about. The folks who ignore the real threats, manufacture imaginary threats, so they can continue to market and sell not only things we don't need, not only things that destroy the planet, but warfare that at this time in our lives and society is genocidal and planet-threatening by nature. Just before I came down here, I was interviewed by mainstream television in Canada for the very first time on the chemtrails subject. And as we get going this morning, I'm going to let you know how we achieve that breakthrough and how we can do that here in this country. And I guarantee we will be on mainstream media before very long. You can predict the question, and of course the one question was, Mr. Thomas, people call you and others pointing to this phenomena wing nuts. Canadian expression, you get the drift. And I said, well, that's very interesting. Then I guess the pilots, the police officers, the former military personnel in the United States who first reported this and continue to say that this is not normal, they're wing nuts too. And the 550 people in the town of Espanola, Ontario, who got fed up with the overflights, the spraying, and the illness around them, and took a petition to the Canadian Parliament, I guess they're wing nuts too. But I'll tell you what, the real wing nuts are the people doing this.